out of turn to say that it will be a foregone conclusion that we're interviewing Magnus. But at this point, what we're seeing is a Magnus who woke up after his match with Gukesh and brought his A game. And I don't understand what you would ever do to stop the guy right now.
It's a total runaway train, and you just begin to see why exactly Magnus has dominated top level chess at the hardest time in history to do so for something like 12 years at this point. I mean, this is why. Welcome to hell, says Magnus, because when he's on his A game, you're busted, you're fill in the blanked.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker, right? I mean, not to say that the scoreboard was not already massively favoring him, but that's a G5 winning that game. Rarely the crowd is finally happy. Danny finally doesn't know what to say.
Mufasa.
Whew. Magnus.
Deep breaths. Holy smokes.
Shout out to the guy who made that GIF on command on Twitter, threw him a diamond membership. I forget his name, but he did exactly what I imagined him doing. It was perfect.
Indidovich, population 2.
Indidovich? Is that to give extra respect? The middle name, Vasilievich?
Indidovich. That's the famous Soviet grandmaster.
All right, we had
everybody. He would just say Indeed. Okay.
We had another isolated queen pawn. It is no more because it is gone. White still has the bishop pair, but Magnus happy now because a pawn is a pawn, and you can use it. You've got knight a4. You've got a 3-on-2 majority here.
And just, again, an endgame that Magnus can start squeezing. He's up a pawn. He's slightly better. And it's just a broken record. I mean, it keeps playing the same tune. Oh. Can he pull another one through here and expand the lead to 7?
Very patient. And this is tough. You know, I honestly feel I'm gonna make a prediction that, you know, will sound insulting to anyone else who might have been Fabi's opponent. But I'll say this. I think Fabiano's rapid and blitz has improved drastically. And I believe that record he has where he has actually never gotten out of the quarterfinals is destined to change. And I think if he had faced just about anybody else in the quarterfinals, he had a very good chance of getting through. I mean, someone even with a different style, right? Even a guy like Hikaru, who is better than Fabi in these fast time controls. Fabi would even admit so. I think Fabi would have preferred Hikaru, right? Just someone with a different type of game than he gets, that he tends to get over and over against Carlsen, where it's like he's beating his head against a brick wall, you know, and Magnus is just like Fabi, but a little bit of an edge. And I think sometimes that can be a harder opponent than someone who's very different than you.
That's a great point. And if we're going down that path, I mean, both Carlsen Nakamura and Carlsen Nihalsara is going to be one of the most epic matches of the SEC. But again, match isn't over. And not only is it not over, but let's think about it this way. 30 minutes left. Okay. Caruana needs to start with 1 win. At this point, forget about the meta strategy. I need to get it down to 4. I need to get it down to 5. He just needs to score 1 single victory. And what this is really coming down to is that he will need to be perfect in the bullet segment. He will need to mount a 5-6 game winning streak. But guess what, Danny? We have seen those types of streaks basically on the regular in this year's SCC. So
yeah, we have.
You know, so not only should you keep watching this match from the perspective of Carlsen just being an artist, but a 6-point lead is not insurmountable. And Fabi has the skill to do something incredible. We know that. We've seen it before.
Yep. And you know, the SEC is very much a format for streaking. Excuse me. You know, bring your green hat. We're going streaking through the gymnasium. But no, seriously, like it's a format to put together streaks because your opponents don't have time to gather themselves, at least not till the break. And so if you can get on a roll and get 1 game, that's when the emotions can start to get to your opponent. So unfortunately for Fabi, this is exactly the type of game that Magnus has had all day. He's in complete control. He's up a pawn and really playing for 2 results. Magnus can either win or draw.
Yep.
But if you can get a win, you gotta get that guy with the big hair flowing from Norway. You gotta get him rattled.
At this point, you just might need a blunder. You'll need to get lucky multiple times if you want to pull off the unimaginable in this match.
Yep.
Okay, but I think this game should end in a draw, but Carlsen's not going down without a fight. That b4 pawn, can Caruana surround it with his pieces? I think he's been able to do it. Rook b3, bishop d2,
Mm-hmm.
knight d4. He still won't die. Look at this. Maybe f4 is the way.
No, he's sitting tight. Rook b6.
Okay, king e7. Is it f4 that he's aiming for here?
F4, f5.
I think that might be it, because bishop e3 to d2, knight e6 jumps into d4, Danny, and you might experience some problems there.
Yep. Yeah, f4, f5 makes sense, and he goes for it. Obviously, if f4, f5 and the knight moves, you can actually immediately play rook takes b4 because of the fork at the end. But all right, Magnus fixes that real quick, gets the pawn one square further to queening. This is a game that has the potential to turn around a mutual time scramble. Obviously, objectively, black is doing fine, but there's this, danger of the king, rook, and bishop getting jiggy with it over here.
Knight c5, king f3, and we're going to get mutual liquidation. And Danny, another thing that we don't talk about is Carlsen's incredible ability to know when to bail out. He just always seems to understand exactly when he's likely to start overpressing. And at that very moment, he manages to bail out the game. It's this insane sixth sense. He knows when to bail out and when to step on the gas pedal. And he always seems to end up being right.
Yep. Yeah, the sense of danger, right, is just something you can't really teach it, I guess. I mean, I think it comes intuitively over time with all the other chess muscles you've been building getting stronger. But right as we were highlighting it, you and I were just saying, watch out, king f5. Like black is up a pawn, but this could turn around. And it's like Magnus hears the call and is like, you know what? I could blow this one. Not even going to give my moment.